I spent the entire day playing the Nintendo Switch 2. And it sucks that I had to leave and I don't have one anymore. I want to talk about my whole experience because I played everything today. I pinged around that building so quickly in the 2 hours that I had for an allotted slot. And it is baseline. Before we continue, I need you to know, sick. And I know that we're dealing with a lot right now. The prices of things are insane. I made a video about that. Now it looks like it might get even worse. So here's what I'm gonna do today. I'm not gonna worry about that. We'll let future me and future us worry about it. I'm just gonna talk about this thing, the cool experience that I had, and why I think it's the... Sorry, don't leave that sound in. This was the Nintendo Switch 2 New York Day 1 hands-on experience that was part of the Raffle, the generic public raffle that we all entered. I actually somehow won. There were loads of content creators that were actually invited by Nintendo to go the day before. I saw iJustine, I saw Philly Beats You. I didn't see me, and I didn't see an email. What I'm saying is, people watching this, I wasn't invited by Nintendo. I got in by sheer dumb luck, and I really have no skin in the game. I'm not being paid. I'm not being influenced. I can say whatever I want. And I loved it. I just really loved it. I'm really excited for you to see this video, but there's something else I'm really excited for you to see. I knew years ago that when the Nintendo Switch 2 came out, I wanted, on launch day, to bring something back that a lot of people have been asking for. And I worked really hard at making this way better than last time. Here you go. There's been someone on Twitter, by the way, that has pinged me like every day for the last 2 months, tweeting at Wood until the Satisfy Grip 2 is revealed. All right, baby, this isn't it. This is actually the first one. But if you missed it, I released a BeatEmUps Satisfy Grip like 4 or 5 years ago. There's also a case, except this time it's way cooler. Here it is. And look, it's got an indent of BeatEmUps this time, and the pull tabs this time are my logo. This time, the grip is fully dockable, which means you can also use the kickstand without taking the grip off. And there's 2 slots in the handles at the back to put in 2 video games. These mean so much to me. The first time we released the grip in the case, they sold out in a day. So this time, I'm just gonna keep selling them. And if you wanna get one, you can pre-order one, links down below, and you also get 20% off if you pre-order it using code BeatEmUps20. This is like the coolest thing I do. I have no other merch. I never do shirts or hats or anything. I only do things when I think that they're special. And this is special. There'll be a link down below. Man, how cool was that trailer though? They're sick. I brought my friend Bob along, and I gotta give a huge thank you to one of my viewers who didn't want to be named, but reached out and gave me a QR code, an extra QR code that happened to be on the same day at the same time as my session, and I gave it to Bob. Why did I do that? It was like a weird universal ride in a way. It was all separated into sections. So the first section we walked into was almost like a waiting room, and it had behind the glass cases all of the accessories and items that I would then spend the next few hours playing with, as well as a bricked Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know what you want to call it, but it wouldn't turn on. And this was actually the only Switch in the whole building that had the removable magnetic Joy-Cons that you could mess around with, because every other one were nailed in, bolted shut, locked down tight so you couldn't steal it. My brain went, Can I yank off these Joy-Cons? How strong is this magnet? Now, I didn't get too much time to try this, but the guy did say have at it. I found that when I grabbed the Joy-Con from like the middle of the frame and really yanked on it, that sucker's on there. I was putting some weight behind it and I couldn't get that thing to come off. And it's just really cool to see that technology work. It just feels really quality. In fact, the whole thing felt way more quality. The screen is insanely big and the new camera was insanely small. It's literally like this big. I don't know why it's 50, but it's so small. Also, up close and in person, the Joy-Cons look really nice. The color scheme, the blue accent, the red accent, it really is a very sleek and, dare I say, sexy looking console. And I might be weird I even said that word, but I'm not taking it back.
Never been at anything like this before. It is crazy how decked out the room is. Like, there's architecture, there's painted walls, there's Switch 2 signage, there's all of these booths. It's really cool. I feel like I'm at Universal Studios right now. Like, it's really done up. Everyone's having a good time.
After a little bit, we get ushered into the first actual game floor, and it was all Mario Kart. And Bob and I, we got pitted against each other, 1v1. I, of course, went straight to the cow. I came second, Bob came first, but we don't gotta worry about that. What we gotta worry about, we were playing Mario Kart in 1080p at 120 frames. We also got to play handheld here, and handheld being full resolution 1080p, it's flawless. Like, it's honestly a flawless experience when you're playing it handheld. The TV's much of the same. The HDR looks so nice, and I've seen people saying this online on Twitter, and I really want to echo it here. I think this really high pixels per inch LCD bigger screen with HDR actually is producing better colors and visuals than the OLED. Where the OLED has an advantage is just in those deep, rich blacks, but I think just in general, this screen looks so much nicer. After we were done with our allotted time in this section, they shuffled us upstairs into another Mario Kart room. But this room was crazy. It was the Battle Royale room. And they put 24 of us on one side, 24 on the other side. And then both sides of the rooms competed in a 24 Mario Kart Battle Royale, where it was one straight crazy course. And there were these checkpoints you had to race to. So the first 20 people to hit that checkpoint keep going. And then the 4 losers, the 4 suckers, they don't get to keep playing. Also, this Battle Royale mode is the first time today I'm using the new Pro Controller. It's really nice, really great, not that different. I mean, the old one's perfect. What are you gonna do? And unfortunately, the guy that has a channel all about Switch, lost immediately. I didn't even qualify in the first 20. But I was a little busy. I was trying to get my glasses to record, and I was trying to film on my phone, and I didn't realize that I had to be quick, and I realized way too late and got knocked out. But I took it as an opportunity to go over and film Bob, and Bob did great.
I'm going really hard right now, but I am not good at this
We
game.
had a really nice lady over there, and she was like, "You lost, but did you have fun?" And I was like, "I guess."
He almost won. He got to like the last 10. But this mode is so creative and cool. I really do love the idea. But a couple other things I really liked about the game that I found out is when you're racing in the standard cup mode, after a race ends, you then race to the next course and then do the course. Because it's open world and all the Mario Kart courses are like situated in the actual world. Yeah, after a course ends, it doesn't just automatically move you over to the next one. It's part of the race. Oh, also something I should mention, you'll see in the footage where I'm filming this guy. Really nice guy. He has a YouTube channel as well, and he had a camera with him. We were intrigued by that because we were told we weren't allowed to bring cameras in. So everything you're seeing was recorded on my iPhone. It's not a great representation of the actual quality of these games. Like, I've been watching it back and some of my clips look really good, but it's all recorded off a phone pointed at a screen. Don't think any of this footage is like raw recordings or a final quality of anything. It's literally just off of my iPhone. The next room was by far the best part of the entire experience. experience because they gave us 2 hours in this room to do whatever we wanted, and they had everything in here. The first thing that we ended up kind of beelining to was there was this back section that said mature gamers only, and I wanted to know what was in there, and it turns out it was Yakuza and Cyberpunk. You might know this if you've been watching me for a while. One of my biggest videos was my review of Cyberpunk. I followed every website, trailer, announcement, anything for that game for over a decade, and the game that I got was not the game that I wanted, and I made a pretty intense video about that. And then Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red, they listened to everybody's criticism and went on to fix the game over the years. And now I never played it. It's kind of crazy now that I'll get to do it again, and I will. I'll play it again, review it again, and this time it's on Switch. So it's a real full circle moment. And then the community manager for CD Projekt Red, who's been working at CD Projekt for the last 10 years, came up to me and said, "Hi, Wood. I've seen your video." I had an immediate moment of, oh no, should I go?
Hi, community manager for CD Projekt.
I am Marcin.
Nice to meet you.
This guy was awesome. He was so nice. I asked him about the video. He said, of course, he's seen it and he understands it. He thought it was completely fair and that everyone's entitled to their opinions. And clearly, there was something to it because they went on to try and fix the game. So it's not like I was off the mark.
You know if the entire game is on the cartridge?
Yes, it is.
The whole game?
Yes,
Okay.
we specifically went for the highest capacity, so 64 gigs.
Wow, that's awesome.
Even though technically this game would run better if you played it on a PC, for him, the Switch version is the most fun to play because of how intuitive the motion controls are. Look at how much they've worked. And it was the first thing that Bob noticed, even without being told. He was messing around with the gyro a little bit and said, wow, this feels really good. But it's not even the gyro that he was talking about. It's the mouse controls and the actual Joy-Con gyro controls. So that was a lot of fun to play around with, and I'll say that the game looks incredible on the console. The only giveaway is still the hair, and it kind of gives it away that you're playing it on something that's maybe getting its GPU pushed to the limit. But other than the hair, everything else looked phenomenal. I wanted to know the frame rates and stuff like that for a big game like this to see how it would compare to the Steam Deck version, and he said
It's been tailor-made for the Switch 2 hardware. It's
Okay.
utilizing all its features that we can to get the best performance, get the best experience. In quality mode, we're targeting 30 FPS, and in performance mode, we're targeting 40 FPS.
it looked fantastic, and I'll say that the 30 frames was super consistent. It's just not my favorite. Still not the best, but even games like Monster Hunter Wilds runs at 40 frames in the balance mode on PlayStation 5, and that extra 10 frames does go a long way at smoothing out the 30 frames. But it is a game that historically does not run well on handheld consoles. So the fact that it's even running as well as it is on Switch 2 is pretty impressive. Immediately as we walked out of the mature content section, we literally went the complete other way and walked to GameCube content. Bob and I went one-on-one on Soul Calibur. What do you want me to say? It's Soul Calibur. It was awesome. I played as Link and I beat Killick. That's how you know I'm good. Bob also had me turn on the CRT scanline features that make it look like you're playing on an old TV back in the day. I turned it off when I tried Wind Waker, and let me tell you, you guys are gonna love it. It's Wind Waker, but in 4K. This is just the straight GameCube version, but honestly, this game is timeless, ageless. The HDR, which by the way, you still get when you play docked, and the HDR was HDRing while we were playing Wind Waker. Also, I got to use the GameCube controller here. It's a GameCube controller. You probably know what to expect. The only differences are there's a ton of buttons at the top. They put the capture button up the top. Other than that, it was a normal GameCube controller. Usually it would be wireless, but here it's plugged in so I don't steal it. And to be fair, I was thinking about it, even though both Bob and I had a lot of fun today, and we had a couple highlights, and we haven't even got to one of them yet. Metroid Prime 4 was probably the one that Bob and I kept talking about for the rest of the day. I played Metroid Prime 4 today in 120 frames. It felt like I was sitting at a high-end PC. This was the moment where I really realized, especially after coming off of Cyberpunk.
My immediate impression of some of these games is that, just like with the Switch, the Nintendo-made games, the first-party games, they're gonna look phenomenal and play insane. And the third-party big games, kind of like how we had Witcher, they're going to try their best to utilize the hardware, but people are still going to have complaints, I think, about some of those experiences.
That's not to be negative, because ultimately being able to play them portable is, in most cases, is worth making, in my opinion. But coming from that 30 FPS Cyberpunk to the 120 FPS Metroid, I mean, it was whiplash. The biggest thing here that you might be wondering, when you switch between the mouse mode and then pick it up, seamless transition.
So this is how instant mouse mode is. You see the little reticle in the middle?
Oh.
That's how quickly it knows that you're doing mouse mode.
It is completely seamless. So Bob wanted to go and play this pack-in game. I gotta be honest, no interest from me whatsoever. So I left him to that and I walked down the aisle a little bit, and at the very end was Hogwarts. Now, I know, not everybody's favorite game, but the Switch 1 version was notoriously pretty rough. I mean, this was one of the most ambitious Switch ports we ever got, and for that alone, I do appreciate what they tried to do. So this was one that I was really curious in checking out, just because it's such a one-for-one comparison for what the new Switch 2 can do. And I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but holy moly. Visually, really nice, really good. I was even flying around the world for a little bit, and it is honestly quite, I've used the word baffling, bizarre, awesome. For this, I'll say impressive. After that, I walked back to Bob and saw him playing the pack-in game, and he was kind of just walking around, a little Joy-Con, and then he played this game where he had to guess the frame rate. What a game.
It's cool that it shows you all the cool stuff that the Switch can do, but put it in the box.
I find it funny that this is even a thing Nintendo are doing, and it's weird because how do I explain this? Every time Nintendo makes a new console and then they do the pack-in game or whatever game it is that kind of uses the hardware's new gimmicks, it's just that. Like Wii Bowling for the Wii motion controls, Nintendo Land with everything that it did. You get it. But this time around, it seems like the gimmick for Nintendo is 120 frames and how many pixels we've got and 4K. Because I even saw him playing a little mini game in here where as he was going along in a Mario world, he was like getting bigger and bigger pixel resolution on the screen, and it was telling you what the resolution was. So these like mini games that usually are about the hardware's gimmicks, the gimmicks were look at the frames. Why I think this is funny is because I think Nintendo thinks this is the gimmick, when it's just normal, not really a gimmick, to be honest. And if I could be a little critical, neither is the PlayStation 2 iToy, a mouse that was on every 90s computer ever, and game chat. Like I wasn't sat in a Ventrilo server 15 years ago with my high school friends. Oh, I guess it would have been more like 20. Ugh. The Switch 2 is cool. It's just funny that the gimmicks this time around are all old things. I didn't get to play the, I hate calling it the wheelchair game, I apologize, but you know what I mean. But I did film people playing it, and they seemed like they were having fun. Looking down the line and seeing all of them slap their little Joy-Con hands as they were all wheeling around the game. And I like that at the end, they were all clapping their hands. That game honestly kind of slaps. I just think it's ugly. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. They gave you 5 minutes on the handheld and 5 minutes on the TV. Oh my God. Very start of Breath of the Wild. So you get the whole shot where you walk out of the cave. And I'll say it again. The HDR goes so hard. And the first thing you notice is the first thing I noticed years ago when I emulated Breath of the Wild 4K 60 frames. When you stand at the top of that little mountain hill in the intro, and you can see the entire land of Hyrule in full HD clarity definition with draw distances all the way back to the castle and further. It really is jaw-dropping. And to get it native on the handheld console was really cool. And I got to play on the TV for a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean it. They gave you 5 minutes. After Breath of the Wild, we walked around, and tucked behind a back corner that we hadn't noticed before was Mario Party Jamboree with the camera. It was really lucky that we walked over here, actually, because neither of us realized we were forgetting about that, because I gotta be honest, neither of us, I think, I don't want to speak for him, really care about the camera. I haven't thought about the PlayStation 2 iToy in a long time. I didn't care for the Kinect when that was a thing, so seeing another camera wasn't really into it, but here it is. And we played Mario Party Jamboree, me and Bob versus 2 of the staff that were working there. I felt so awkward and dorky. I did not expect to have to literally do a mini game here on the show floor where the point is to make as much body movement and noise as possible. Bob and I were having to scream in front of everybody I was so embarrassed. I have social anxiety. And I would love, Zach, if we could slow down the moment where we started screaming the first time. I guarantee you there's a couple of moments where he goes first and I'm like, I guess we're doing this.
We just played the Mario Party iToy game, and it was thoroughly embarrassing.
I had a great time.
But I will say it was fun. I don't think it's something I would do.
I'm never playing that again.
I'm never doing it again, but I could see kids really liking it.
The camera is goofy. It's really low quality. I had a hard time finding where I was supposed to stand with it, but it worked. Well, actually, no, it kind of didn't. I'm giving it too much credit. Bob was filming this on his chest, so I'm not sure how much you could see since he was moving around so much. But the very first thing we had to do was Bowser says, Simon says, and he told Luigi, which was me, to squat. And I squatted and it just didn't register it. And then it told me to like keep standing up and I didn't move. And it also didn't register it. Maybe if it was in my house and I was used to where I was supposed to stand, but maybe I was doing something wrong I didn't realize. But I mean, it was squat and stand and I did both. All right, we're at the final room. They made the piece de resistance Donkey Kong. I've never really cared for Donkey Kong. Like, not too much. The 2D side-scrollers were never for me, and I've never really enjoyed 2D platformers all that much. I didn't really play Donkey Kong 64. I was more of an Ocarina kid, so I don't have really much banana skin in the game, should I say. For me, it was Mario Kart, Metroid, checking out some of these third-party things and how it runs, and mostly just playing with the thing itself. But, Donkey Kong is freaking cool, man. It's a lot like Mario Odyssey, but if the entire world was like a 4D playground, you can destroy everything, and you can destroy even straight down into the ground, and the ground just keeps going, like mining down in Minecraft, just spamming the attack button and just absolutely carving through the side of a mountain or carving through a cave is so satisfying. And the guy said to me that the world is filled with secrets from top to literally bottom. Like, he said that in the time that they've been showing the game off, people have found things they didn't even know were in the game. And I went over to Bob at one point to film him playing the game. And I said, Bob, can you just, where you are now, can you just smash down? And he smashed down a few times and found a giant hidden chest secret. Literally right there where I told you to randomly smash down, you found something secret. There are tons of different collectibles that you can get on the side of the screen and things to look out for in every level. Gorgeous game too. When you press the minus button, it brings up the map, and the map, like, it zooms out in real time and it shows you a real representation of what's left of the world after you've wrecked through it. It shows all the damage that you've caused. It feels next-gen Nintendo. And I don't just mean in the gameplay, but obviously the visuals and the frame rates and the resolution of it all too. Like, everything is coming together to make this game feel next-gen Nintendo. It feels like going back in time to 64 and playing Mario 64 for the first time and not really knowing how to interact with the world, but rediscovering video games for the first time. I hope I'm not overselling this, but everybody that was lining up and playing were like, whoa, like you could hear, whoa, wows. Everyone that recognized me and Bob were like, you're gonna love it. It was so sick. Oh my God. The other thing is the redesign of Donkey Kong, watching him in this game, the animation on his face in just moments where he's idling has so much character. But then in the cutscenes and just the way the animators have moved his face and the expressions they've given him, he's adorable. I absolutely love him. And that was our experience. On the way out, they gave us a cool, sick-ass bag. I also got a lanyard and I kept my little badge. I'll keep this forever. I'm so happy that I got to go. I wish both Bob and I got invited with the other creators. I'm not gonna lie. But I gotta tell you, the trade-off of that was going to this event with the public. And the public was so nice. Bob and I met so many people today that recognized me and him from the channel.
It's good to be liked.
It's good to be liked.
And there was something so wholesome and sweet and special about the amount of people that were going to this event because they love Nintendo and they were excited to play the Switch 2, and then seeing a couple of YouTubers that they like watching videos for. And now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I got the Switch 2 and Bob Wolf is here. Actually, you know what? Screw the influencer day. I'm glad we didn't go on that day. I'm glad we went today and we got to meet all of you. And if you saw us there, thanks so much for being so sweet. Everyone we met congratulated me on the baby, which, by the way, way, I'm not having the baby. Kim is, but I know, I'm just kidding, and it was so nice. It was so nice. Well, the baby that I'm having is my Satisfy grip. So no, no, the other baby is my baby. That was a weird plug, but don't forget the Satisfy grip. Check it down below. Okay, final thoughts. It was all sick, but what it feels like to me is that awesome console that we've had for the last 10 years finally brought up to current day. Finally able to do some really awesome things like playing these Nintendo games in insanely high frame rates and resolutions with beautiful HDR visuals and creative new experiences using that hardware like Donkey Kong, which has got me so excited for this generation of Nintendo games. I can't wait to see what they do with Zelda. I can't wait to see where they take Animal Crossing. I can't wait to see how they utilize this new hardware. And if it's any indication with Donkey Kong, we have nothing to worry about. I know it's expensive, and again, I know that there's concerns around money, and this video I didn't want to make it about that, but if you get one, you're gonna love it. It's sick. It's so good. I hope you enjoyed this video and a look at the Nintendo Switch 2. Subscribe if you're new, because I don't know if you know this whole channel is about this stuff. Like and comment if you have something to say, and I'll see you soon with more Switch 2 stuff and other stuff.